In this tutorial, I will show you how to install SENIB. To be able to run SENIB, you need to have OpenOffice or LibreOffice on your computer. If you don't have any of those programs on your computer, then you can, if you want, download the file SENIB with OpenOffice.exe. Please note that this file you can only run if you have Microsoft Windows as your operating system. If you have a Mac or are running Linux, for example, then you don't have any options. Then you just download the file senib.zip from www.senib.com. This file, senib with OpenOffice.exe, contains all programs that are necessary to make use of all functions that are available in SENIB. Before you start using SENIB, you need to change some settings in OpenOffice. In this tutorial, I will show you how to change these settings. But if you have downloaded the file senib with OpenOffice.exe, then you don't need to change any of these settings because they are already changed in OpenOffice. In this tutorial, I will assume that you have downloaded OpenOffice and that it is installed on your computer. I recommend using OpenOffice instead of LibreOffice for various reasons that I won't talk about now. So, you have two options then if you have OpenOffice on your computer, either to download senib.exe or senib.zip. The only difference between these two files is that senib.exe is a self-extracting zip archive. This means that you don't have to worry about how to extract a zip file. So, because I have Microsoft Windows on my computer, I can just double-click this to extract it, and I choose to extract it to the same folder. This creates the folder SENIB here, which contains all files that SENIB comes with. So I go into it. Inside here I can see 3 folders and 2 files. This folder, My Houses, is the folder that SENIB will automatically suggest to save all the calculations into for your main house files. This folder, PDF Exchange Viewer Settings, you only have use for if you have digital blueprints in PDF files that you want to make measurements in. The folder SENIB EXT contains some SENIB files that you don't have to worry about. The file that you always start with when you're gonna enter information about the new house is the file onenewhouse.ods. So I double click that file, and then that file opens in OpenOffice 4 that I have installed on my computer. Here it says that this document contains macros, but the macros are prevented from running because of the security settings. So that will be the first thing that we need to change. So I press OK here, go on Tools and Options, and then I click on Security and Macro Security. Here I have 2 options. Either I can click on Trusted Sources and on Add, and add the folder SENIB, and I will never be asked if I want to run macros from that folder. They will automatically run. So I recommend that solution. But this time I'm just gonna click Medium here, and then I have to confirm every time I open a file if I want to run macros in it or not. So I press OK here. I also have to go to OpenOffice Calc and General and deselect this checkbox, Show Overwrite Warning when pasting data. And then I press OK. The last setting I need to change is also on the Tools menu, but under Autocorrect Options and the tab Options. Here I deselect Replace Dashes. Press OK. Now I can just close this file and I don't have to save the changes because I only changed the settings of OpenOffice. So I reopen the file onenewhouse.ods again. And this time it will ask me if I want to enable macros. So I click on Enable Macros here. And now it asks me to install an extension, SENIB extension.oxt. And that's the file you can also find in this folder, SENIB ext, SENIB extension.oxt. So I click yes here to install it, and a little message tells me that it's currently installing, and a message that it tells me that everything went well. So I press OK there. The first thing that it asks me for now, that is to save this file onenewhouse.ods under a new file name. And that's because we want to keep the file onenewhouse.ods just as it is, to be able to use it for other houses. So I press OK here, and it automatically suggests me to save it in the folder My Houses that I talked about earlier. So I enter the file name here, My House, and press Save. Now the file gets saved under the new file name, and that we can see up here that it's soon going to change. myhouse.ods. If I scroll down here a bit, there is a setting that you can change here on the first sheet. If you want SENIB to create backup copies every time this file is saved, you can just select this checkbox and a backup copy will always be created every time the file is saved. On this big gray button you can test if macros are enabled, and macros are enabled, and some other tests that were performed was also performed okay. So now the calculations will be performed correctly. If I go over here again and I go into my folder My Houses that I talked about earlier, there you can see my file myhouse.ods. So that was all I wanted to show you about the installation procedure for SENIB.